Is this like a space station or something?
Hey y'all, Michelle here. So this is my Glowforge 3D laser printer. As you can see, I haven't unboxed anything yet, and I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about what it's like when it first arrives. So first and foremost, you have to be home when it gets here because it requires a signature. The second thing is when it gets here, it's going to actually be up on its side. So pretty quickly, you want to make sure that you're able to lay it flat, because if you keep it up on its side for too long, that could potentially have long-term effects to the Glowforge itself. Now, I bought the Glowforge Pro. I also bought the air filter that goes with it, because with the Glowforge 3D laser printers, it has exhaust as it is cutting and engraving and printing, as it's called on the Glowforge website. And so as it's doing that, it has to have a place to put the fumes and things. And so because mine is not going to be by a window, I bought the air filter that goes with it as well. Now, I also ended up getting 2 additional boxes. This box here has some additional elements that go with the Glowforge, and then this is a box of all kinds of additional materials that I can play with and practice with on my 3D printer. Before you end up opening your Glowforge, you want to make sure that you know where you're going with it, because once you get it open, you want to already have your space kind of set up and ready to put the printer on. So I already have that space. It's going to be a table right over here that I'm going to end up setting everything up on. You're also going to want to make sure that that table is completely level. So get out a level, go ahead and make sure that it's level, because if your Glowforge is on a table or a space that is uneven, that will impact the printing that it does. So at this point, I'm ready to go ahead and unpack this baby and get it going. I do want to also note that you're going to want to keep the box, because if at any point you need to send it back in for repairs or anything like that, you need to do it in the original box and the original packing. Otherwise, Glowforge will charge you $249. At the time of this video, it's $249 to have another box delivered for you. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to open it up and follow the instructions and go through and get it moved over to my table and work on getting it set up. At this point, I was having problems being able to figure out exactly where am I supposed to open and unpack the box from. Now, some boxes come with 4 plastic handles, 2 on each side, that you can kind of unclip and unsnap. My box didn't come with that. So I tried to go ahead and open up the 2 ends so that I hoped I would be able to slide out the inside. As you can see, I wasn't able to successfully slide out the inside without the box coming with me. So I had my son come over, and I thought, well, if I get him to hold the outside part of the box, I'll slide the inside part of the box out. I wanted to be very, very careful with it because I didn't want to break it. That didn't work either, as you can see. So I really struggled on trying to actually get the Glowforge out of the box itself. From here, once I realized that this was just not working, I didn't want to pull too hard, I didn't want to break it, I decided that the best option was going to be to go ahead and, for a short amount of time, turn it onto its side to be able to make a small cut down the edge of the box to release the lid off of the packing itself. So you can see here, I decided to start cutting, and I decided to go ahead and turn it on its side just for a very short amount of time so that I can get that top lid off of the main part of the box. Now, I did this with my son's help to make sure that it didn't fall and it didn't break, but I really did struggle a little bit here with how do I actually get the box itself open. So you can see I made that one small cut with my scissors, and then I was able to lay it down and open up the entire thing. And then I'm going to keep that box. If I ever need to use it again, I can always just tape it back together. it up here on the table. I've got the box put away so I can say that hopefully I won't ever need it again, but you never know. I've also already double checked that my table is completely level. I just pulled a level out, put it right there, smack dab on the front, and I can see that my table is perfectly level. So hopefully that shouldn't impact any of the projects that I end up making with this. So at this point, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna unpack the plastic that goes around it. Okay, so now I'm just going to follow along with the Glowforge instruction website and walk through unpacking the inside part of the printer. Now the front part styrofoam came out really easily, but the back part where the actual head of the laser is, that part was in there very tightly, and so again, I didn't want to break it, I didn't want to pull too hard, so I just really cautiously kind of wiggled the big styrofoam piece out. So be careful whenever you're unpacking the inside of the Glowforge, because some of the parts are actually inside the packing. Okay, so at this point, I need to put in the crumb tray on these 4 different little like trivets that are here on the bottom, but I don't see the crumb tray here, so it must be in my other box. So let's head over to the other box and go ahead and unpack that one. Okay, so this is box number 2 that I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna unpack here. So let's open this one and see if this is where the crumb tray is. It looks like this is it. So I'm gonna take this one over to my machine. So I've made sure there's no debris or anything here inside the machine. So now I'm supposed to take this crumb tray and slide it in here. With this curved part facing me until I feel it kind of settle into those 4 little spots. There we go. Okay, crumb tree in, let's keep going. Next up, we're gonna install the print tray.
For this particular piece of the machine, you want to be really careful when you're holding it, because you want to make sure that you don't put your fingers on that little green dot that's there on the right hand side of it. So just be careful of that whenever you're holding it and you're trying to clip it into place. You can see that little green dot right there on the left hand side of the actual piece. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to untape that cord first, and then you're going to snap that cord into the piece that's in your left hand. And so it's just kind of connecting everything so that it can read what it's supposed to be doing and how it's supposed to be moving inside of your machine. And then it kind of feels like a magnet. It's going to kind of snap into place, so to speak. And you can see here, that blue part is nothing to do with the machine. That's just my son had like a little flashlight that he was coming over to help me be able to see a little bit better. So don't be alarmed if yours doesn't look blue like that. It's not supposed to. That was just my son's flashlight. And then once you have it snapped into place, you're going to slowly push it from side to side just to make sure that it can freely move. Once it's securely in place, you need to line it up so that the little Glowforge symbol is directly underneath the camera that's on the top lid. So you can see me here kind of moving it around.
Okay, so now that we've got the inside of this set up, it's time for us to set up the exhaust. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bring over the exhaust that was in box number 2, where we got that chrome tray, and I'm gonna grab that air filter box and bring those over here.
Second smaller box, I have my power cord as well as a bundle of materials that comes with your initial purchase. I'm going to add that to the extra bundle of materials that I purchased, and we'll look at that in just a minute. And then let's go ahead and grab our exhaust vent hose and head back over to our machine.
Okay, so now we're around on the back side of the Glowforge, and I have my duct. It's like a dryer duct, and this is where it's going to be attached to. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open this up now and see if I can get it attached here to the outside of this. And this is my power cord, and I'm going to put that over here on the side.
These metal rings are what actually attach to the outside part of the exhaust hose, and then you clip them onto the back of the Glowforge as well as onto the air filter. It ensures that you have a really secure connection so that there's no exhaust fumes that actually leak out of the machine. Now, I will say it was very, very difficult to squeeze together to get onto the actual hose itself. Now, I feel very confident in the fact that there's not going to be any leaks because of how tight it was, but I will tell you, squeezing those two clips together to try to make the ring itself a little bit bigger and make it fit on there was very, very tricky.
So now, if you are by a window, you have the option that you can just filter this out a window. I've opted to go ahead and use an air filter, and so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this ring clamp on this side of this exhaust as well, and then we're going to attach that to the air filter. let's grab the air filter out and see if we can attach this onto the air filter. This is the box that the air filter came in. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get this stuff out. So this is the top of the air filter. I'm gonna put that up here. This is where I'm actually going to attach this here onto the top. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get the rest of this air filter out of this box. Be careful, it's really, really heavy. That's heavy. It's heavy. I'm gonna pull it over here. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna cut this bag. You can see it has like a little knob on it here. And it has wheels on the bottom. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take this, I've already got the clamp around the exhaust pipe, and I'm gonna put it right here on the top.
And I think at this point my hand was already really tired from squeezing it on the earlier ring, so I really struggled getting it attached. So just know it's hard to squeeze.
Whew, that's hard. That part's not easy.
Once you have your exhaust hose attached, it's now time to put the lid onto the air filter. So my suggestion with this is that when you put the lid on, you only do one clip on one side first. You can see here I did both clips and I had a really hard time clipping on the other side. So I actually undid one clip, then I clipped the other side to make sure that it was on there nice and secure.
Next step, now that I have the exhaust plugged in and connected correctly, it's time for me to go ahead and plug in the actual machine. So I'm gonna take, this is the cord that came in my Glowforge box. I'm gonna plug this one in here. And then I'm gonna plug it in directly to an outlet. I wanna make sure that it goes directly into the wall and not into an extension cord or a power strip. It needs to go directly into a wall outlet. And then my filter will also need to be plugged in. So I'm gonna go ahead and just roll it this way, because again, it has wheels on the bottom. And here's the cord that came with it. And I'm gonna plug it in on this side. Right like that. Now, when you are making the exhaust pipe for your Glowforge, you want to make sure it doesn't have, you want it to be as straight as possible. So no more than 2 90-degree turns. Otherwise the stuff can get stuck inside the exhaust itself. So just keep that in mind. You want it to try to be as straight as possible and as direct as possible. Okay, here we go. Very first time I'm turning the power button on. Let's see what happens. Okay, so at this point I have it on. When the button turns teal, then you can connect your computer to the Wi-Fi. There will be an option that says Glowforge, and you'll click on that Glowforge Wi-Fi and connect to that. Yay! You successfully connected your Glowforge to Brookslandia Wi-Fi. Please wait. Your device should reconnect automatically to your favorite network, but you might have to do this manually. Woohoo! Third time is a charm, yay! Next step, I have to call it, I have to give it a name inside the software. So me and the boys have voted, we're calling it Lizzie the Laser. And then we can always change the name later if we change our mind. And then one last thing that I wanted to talk about is I wanted to show you guys the materials that actually came in the original Glowforge box with me. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna open these up so we can just take a look at what all is actually included with the Glowforge purchase. So we've got medium teal acrylic. It looks like a little piece of acrylic. And the nice part is it has all the names of these on the outside. So we've got some natural leather here. We've got some hardwood. And then it's cool because it has a little QR code that will help me see exactly how to use it and what to do with it. And then a few more. There's a medium basswood, a medium basswood. And then we've got some larger sheets, and then it has a whole bunch of information on the proof grade materials. So this one is clear acrylic. So we've got a full size, pretty large sheet of the clear acrylic. We've got the medium clear acrylic. We've got a larger piece of the light basswood. We've got another piece of that light basswood plywood. And then we've got a medium draft board. And then another medium draft board. And so these are all materials that came with the original purchase of the machine. Now I also ended up purchasing a bundle of materials that were extras that came with the machine. And so I wanted to show you guys those too, because that was that fourth box that we haven't quite unpacked yet. And so that came with a ton of different types of materials that I can sample. So things like this fluorescent pink acrylic and green acrylic and teal acrylic and hardwoods, and there's like a medium ash hardwood, red oak hardwood, basswood hardwood. So it has all kinds of different colors, medium popular hardwood, cherry hardwood. And so it's giving me all kinds of these samples of different materials that I can get directly from Glowforge. So this is like a yellow acrylic, orange, red, blue, white, black, all kinds of different acrylics. And then you can see their different thicknesses as well. So like that red acrylic is a lot thicker than the yellow acrylic is. And then here we've got our another hardwood and then a blue. This is a transparent blue acrylic. And then here, this is a lot heavier, but we've got larger sheets. So we've got like a larger sheet of a black thick acrylic. And so there's all kinds of different types of materials here in this box as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and lay these out, and then I'll show you what they all end up looking like. This is a sampling of all the materials that I got as extras in my add-on. So you can see here, I got a whole bunch of different acrylics. I got all different types of hardwoods, all different stains of plywood. I also got some really thick acrylics over here. And then I also got a couple sheets of leather to be able to experiment with. I'm so excited to get going. And then these are all the samplings of things that I got that came with my machine. So with the initial purchase, all of these items came with it, which are some hardwoods, an acrylic sheet, a piece of leather, and then some plywoods and clear acrylics here as well. Okay y'all, so now it's time for us to actually make our first cut with the machine. So we've logged on to the Glowforge app, which is basically just a website on your computer. And we've logged into the dashboard, and they prompt you through your very first cut. So we're gonna go ahead and follow those prompts. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to select which proof grade material we want to use for this cut. So it says make sure your Glowforge is on, which it's on, then select a sheet of a medium draft board from your proof grade starter pack. So we get to go over here to our starter pack, which is this stack of items here, and we're gonna select one that is a medium draft board. So I've got to go through and find a medium draft board. Okay, so this one here is our medium draft board. It says medium draft board on there, so that's going to be the one that we end up using for our very first cut. Okay, so now what it says to do is it says to open up the lid of your Glowforge. So it says you're supposed to open it up. And then it says you're supposed to place the medium draft board in the bed with the barcode facing up. So we're gonna go ahead and just set it in right inside here with that barcode facing up. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna close the lid. It says after you close the lid, Glowforge will scan the bed and display an image of your material and read our barcode. So it's doing that on my computer screen. Let me show you what my computer screen looks like. That gives you an idea. Okay, y'all, so I'm a little nervous, but here we're gonna go, okay? So we've got our element in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to click print. Now we're gonna push the flashing button. And it should start going.
Let's open up the lid and see what it made.
That's cool.
So now that it's done, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the wood out of the machine. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the little bitty ruler that was printed on the machine and kind of tap out those insides, and let's take a closer look at how it worked.
Well, this part doesn't look like it went all the way through. So good news, bad news. It looks like we got our item cut, but this section here doesn't look like it cut out. So we're gonna go ahead and remove the masking and see what it ends up looking like. So we made our very first print. Turned out good, except for the fact that this little part didn't go all the way through. So I'm gonna try it one more time to see if something happened, or see if I can get it to cut all the way through one more time. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing we just did. I've got the material inside the machine, and we're gonna try it one more time together to see if we can make a perfect second cut. Remember, it took me 3 times to get connected to the Wi-Fi. Who knows, maybe it'll take me 3 times to get the perfect cut on the keychain. like second time's the charm. Woohoo! All the pieces came out. Now we just have to pull off the masking. First cut on the Glowforge. Actually, it was the second one because the first one didn't cut through there all the way. But I am so excited about all the awesome things that this machine is going to be able to produce.